Hello everyone, and welcome back to our weekly series of Is the Shrine Worth It? The series where we look at the perks in the Shrine of Secrets and see if they're really worth your 2,000 iridescent shards each. Today we have perks from Ghostface, Doctor, Leon, and Alan Wake. Those perks are Furtive Chase, Monitor and Abuse, Bite the Bullet, and Deadline. Let's have a look at our survivor perks first. Our first survivor perk is Bite the Bullet. When healing, you and the survivor you're healing make no noise, including grunts of pain. There is no noise notification on failed skill checks, and the healing is regressed by only 1%. This is what it looks like in game. Now this is a really hard perk to show you how effective it really is in game, but trust me when I tell you it's really good if you're playing the immersive, trying to stay away from the killer build. Because this is a licensed perk, I would definitely say it's worth it. Go and pick it up. Even if you don't like playing in that playstyle, one day there may be a build that you might want to chuck it into. Our second survivor perk is Deadline. This perk activates when you're injured. Skill checks appear 10% more frequent when repairing or healing and appear in random places. The penalty for missing a skill check is reduced by 50%. This is what it looks like in game. This is a beginner perk. Much like Technician, it works on making sure that you don't get as punished when you miss your skill checks on a gen. If you really want to run Deadline, I would advise that you run Resilience with it. This gives you a flat 9% bonus when you are injured and doing any kind of action. I would say that this is definitely worth picking up as it's from another licensed survivor, so 100% pick this up. Let's move on to our killer perks. Our first perk is Monitor and Abuse. While in a chase, your terror radius is increased by 8 meters. Otherwise, your terror radius is decreased by 8 meters. This is what it looks like in game. As you can see, it's a very hard perk to show what it actually does in game, but it is very strong on pretty much any killer. It allows you to get closer to survivors before they actually start running for the chase. And if you're in chase, it doesn't really matter how big your terror radius is, it probably just alerts other survivors that are closer to you whilst you are chasing that original person. Now, because Doctor is a very cheap character to buy, I would avoid buying his perk in the shrine, and I would just go and buy him fully, and you can get all of his perks for 2,250 iridescent shards. Finally, our last killer perk is Furtive Chase. When your obsession is hooked, you gain the undetectable status effect and a 5% haste buff for 18 seconds. This is what it looks like in game. This is a really tough perk to get going, as you have to find the obsession and then hook them, assuming that they don't loop you the whole game. Instead of this perk, I would run something that guarantees you the undetectable status like Tinkerer, where all you have to do is kick the gen and it gives you that undetectable status. However, just because this is a hard perk to get into your build doesn't mean that you shouldn't pick it up. This is from yet another licensed killer from Ghostface, so I would 100% say it is worth picking up this week. To recap, this has been one heckin' good shrine. For the perks that you want to pick up, you want to go with Furtive Chase, Bite the Bullet, and Deadline. The only perk that you want to stay away from is Monitor and Abuse. That is because you can buy Doctor and get all of his perks for around the same price. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week for a new shrine. Bye!